So the story begins by showing a man named Jack, who reaches his home while cycling through the forest. As soon as he reaches home, he sees that his beautiful wife Rosie is sitting on the stairs and looking at him attentively. Jack sees her and asks what happened. Rose gives a slight smile and goes to her room without saying anything. After this, Jack and Rose send their daughter Trixie to a babysitter. Leaving the pass, both of them are preparing to go to a party. Rosie starts getting ready for the party, so Jack starts helping his wife wear shoes with a lot of love. Seeing this moment, it seemed that there is a deep love between the two, but the reality is something else which is going to be revealed to us very soon. Now Jack and Rosie. They reach the party very well. Many of their friends are also present in the party. Everything is going well. Then a boy named John comes to the party. Rosie gets happy on seeing him and says hi, and immediately goes to him. Jack is watching all this silently. Then Rosie takes John out of the party and both of them go to a place alone and start kissing each other. Jack is watching this scene outside from the window, but he doesn't say anything. He moves away from there. Actually, he knows everything about his wife's affairs. Now Jack and Rose's friends also knew about this toxic relationship. There, one of Jack's friends, Mary, while talking to him on this topic says, "You know everything. Then why are you maintaining this relationship?" Then Jack replies that Rosie should do whatever she wants in her life. She has no objection. I can break this relationship if I want, and she also knows this, but I love her very much and do not want to break my family. But I am sure that one day, Rosie will definitely understand my love. After this, Jack takes a drink from the bartender and goes to a room where John follows him and shamelessly tells Jack, "I want to thank you for your hospitality. Your hospitality is really amazing. I have seen that most of the husbands people feel jealous seeing their wife with someone else, but you are a great person." Jack remains calm and says, "Have you heard about Martin who suddenly disappeared some time back and he was also a very good man? I had a friend who, just like you, was after Rosie, but one day in a fit of rage I murdered him. Until date, no one has found his body." Hearing this, John gets nervous, but he controls himself and says, Are you joking?" Jack replies that it depends on you how you take this information. Hearing this, John's face turns pale and he immediately starts leaving the party. Seeing this, Rose tries to stop him, but John leaves from there on some excuse. Now after the party gets over, Jack and Rosie also return home. On the way, Rosie asks, "Hey, what did you say to John that he left suddenly?" Then Jack lies that I did not say anything to him that would make him leave the beach party. Then the next day's scene is shown in which Jack goes to drop his daughter to school. And then while leaving from there, he meets a friend on the way who jokingly asks him, "Have you started committing murders now? All our friends are talking about the same thing." Jack laughingly replies, "Maybe John has spread all this." But here when Rosie comes to know that when she tries to scare John by taking Martin's name, she gets very angry, and while quarreling with him says, "You should not have done this. You should have sent Martin away first." And now to John as well, but Jack clarifies that I was just joking, but Rosie is not ready to believe this, and says that tonight I am inviting John for dinner. You will have to apologize to him, then let us see what happens next with John. He comes to their house for dinner, and everyone starts having dinner. Now after dinner is over, Rose tells her daughter Trixie that today your dad will tell you a story. She says this because she wants to spend some time alone with John. Jack also understood all this but doesn't say anything. He puts Trixie to sleep quickly by telling her a story and then comes downstairs. After coming downstairs, he sees everything in the mirror. He gets jealous of the kind of time they are spending. Rosie comes in the kitchen and asks to get another drink for John, and she goes in the other room. Then Jack takes a drink for John, but John still had doubts about the murder. He says to Jack, "Don't you think you should apologize to me for that murder joke?" Hearing this, Jack turns away from that statement and becomes serious and says, "Actually, that murder joke was not a joke. I really did that on his head." He had finished him off by hitting him with a hammer. Now he will not come back by apologizing. On hearing this, John's light goes off and he runs away from there in fear. After this, Jack and his family are shown at a party where many other people were also present along with their friends. There Jack meets a man named Mark. Mark meets a writer from Jack's best friend Kelly's husband, who is often out of town. The two talk to each other a lot on personal topics. They start discussing. Mark asks, "What do you do for work?" he replies. "I am retired now and I work a little bit, but mostly I spend time cycling." Now everyone enjoys a lot in the party where she starts dancing with her best friend Kelly, and seeing this Rose feels very jealous. Now from here we are shown a scene of a few days later where Trixie and many other children from the school are playing. Meanwhile, Jack sees her dancing with Trixie. He receives a call from the bank informing him that Rose has recently transferred $3,000 to another account. When he asks for more details, he finds out that this amount has been transferred to a boy named Charlie who plays live piano. Hearing this, Jack understands that Rose has found a new boyfriend because John had left her. After this, he starts looking for that boy, and then in the evening when he goes to a live piano session in a restaurant, he sees Rosie there who is sitting there listening to the piano very well. From this, Jack understands that this is the new one. Now after this new relationship of Rose, she often starts returning home late at night, which makes it clear that she has entered into a deep relationship with Charlie. Jack starts getting jealous of this, but this time he doesn't care. Then one night, Rosie does not come home, and the next morning when she returns home, Jack gets angry and asks her, "Where were you the whole night? You have a family and a 6-year-old daughter, and you have this boy named Charlie." Rosie is not affected by the question of why so many dollars were transferred. Instead, she starts telling Jack where she was the whole night and with whom she was, because she knows that Jack is jealous of this, and she also knows that no matter what she does, Jack will never keep her away from himself, so she takes full advantage of this. Now we will see further that one of Jack's friends, Miles, has a pool party at his house where Rosie invites Charlie as well. Charlie starts playing the piano. Along with the rest of the people, Rosie also starts dancing happily, but Jack did not like all this at all. Then Rosie introduces Charlie to Jack as her new friend, and Jack also starts talking to him a little bit. Jack is looking for Rosie at night, and after going inside the house, he sees Rosie and Charlie secretly coming out of a room, and he understands what they were doing there. We see that Rose and Charlie are also bathing in the pool along with everyone else, and during this time, both of them are sticking very close to each other. Jack was having fun, and seeing all this, he was getting very angry. But what could he do? But then suddenly it started raining, and all the people ran inside the house one by one. But Jack was the last one to enter the house. Now inside the house, everyone is preparing something to eat and enjoying a lot. But after a while, when Rosie goes out in search of Charlie, she sees Charlie's dead body in the pool and starts screaming. Everyone quickly takes Charlie out of the pool and starts giving him CPR. Everyone gets worried about what happened to him suddenly, but Charlie was already dead. After this, the police come for investigation and start interrogating everyone. During this, Rosie gets angry and starts shouting in front of the police that Jack has killed Charlie. Hearing this, the other people tell the police that the relationship between these two is not going well. That's why Rosie is saying all this in anger. The police kept him in another room. They take him away, and after a little questioning, they let him go. But because of this incident, Rosie becomes even more distant from Jack. Then, after a few days, we see that Jack is killing his daughter. He takes her to school, and while leaving from there, his friend Kelly meets him and says, "Is it okay to tell you this or not? But Rosie came to our house that day, and she, along with my husband Mark, sent a personal detective after you. It has been put there because after Charlie's death, she is suspecting you." Then later we see that at night, Jack invites Mark and Kelly to dinner, and then takes Mark to another room where he used to keep Snell, and tells him to stop getting influenced by my wife and sending detectives after me, as you were also present there that night. So what do you think I would have killed Charlie? Mark doesn't answer, but he is not going to let Jack go so easily, as we know Mark is a writer, and he is so interested in this because he wants to write a great crime story on Jack's personal life. Now the story moves a bit forward, and one day Jack comes to know it turns out that Rose has made a new boyfriend who is her college friend. Jack sees them hanging out together, and Rose's new boyfriend's name is Tony. Then one day, Tony comes home to meet Rosie. Jack is also at home, and he understands everything after seeing this. Then they all have dinner together, after which Tony goes to the house as soon as he gets a chance. He goes to Rosie's room and starts getting romantic with her there. Jack is also secretly watching all this, and this time Rosie also sees him, due to which she gets into an awkward situation. Then the next day, Jack starts riding a car. He follows Tony, and seeing the opportunity, he drives his car in front of her, and in a casual manner says, "Hey, you are here. Rose has been trying to contact you for so long. Maybe she has some work with you. Come with me. I will drop you. Now Tony sits in Jack's car and leaves to meet Rose, but Jack, while driving the car, takes Tony very far away to a place in the middle of the forest where there was no one. Then on getting down from the car, Tony asks that here, "But what have we come to do?" In the meantime, Jack takes a stone and hits Tony on the head, and falls down in the ditch and dies there. He dies immediately. He starts tying Tony, and during this he also finds Tony's wallet, which he keeps with himself. Then he takes it to the river and drowns it so that no one finds his body. Next day we see Rose and Trixie going on a picnic. They were getting ready for the trip when Jack arrives home, and Rosie asks him if he would like to come with them, to which he agrees and asks where he is planning to go. Trixie says that we are going to a nearby place. Going towards the forest side, now in the next scene, and Rosie was also looking very happy, while Trixie was roaming around with her dog and looking at the forest. Here, Rose asks Jack, "Why do you still want to stay with me when one after the other is leaving me?" Jack also talks very romantically that "I don't know, but I just want to spend my whole life with you." Hearing this, Rosie also gets impressed, due to which both of them come very close to each other. Then Trixie calls her dad, then Jack goes to see him. Trixie says that her dog is not moving away from the riverbank. Then Jack looks towards the river, and he finds out that Tony, the dead body of the deceased, is now visible from above, and now anyone can see it, so he quickly leaves from there with his family on some pretext. Then next morning, Jack takes his bicycle and goes to that location again. He goes there and tries to submerge Tony's body in the water again with a stick. On the other hand, Rose goes to Jack's snail's room, and after a little investigation, she finds Tony's wallet. She understands everything that Jack has finally killed Tony as well. On the other hand, Jack was trying to drown Tony's body when Mark reaches there and asks him, "What are you doing there?" Then Jack gets nervous and starts making excuses. He sees Tony's body and gets scared and quickly takes his car and starts running very fast. Seeing this, Jack also starts chasing him on his bicycle and as soon as he moves ahead through the shortcut and falls in front of Mark's car, Mark loses control, and he, along with the car, falls straight down the slope into the river and dies on the spot due to this accident, while Rosie, on the other hand, loses everything. After this, she burns Tony's wallet as it can become an evidence. Now at the end of the story, we are shown the beginning scene where Jack is cycling through the forest with his He comes home, and Rosie was sitting there just looking at him, seeing which Jack asks what happened. Then Rosie smiles a little and goes to her room without saying anything,